All right, guys, I'm here by myself. I have no choice, but I gotta film. I'm not even sure if I'm in the center, but I got a really special bike. That's why I decided to do this without any help. Max is in Vietnam visiting the motherland, visiting his roots. Now, actually, I'm not sure if you guys know, there is a half pipe, a concrete half pipe in the middle of the jungle. So Max got wind of it, and he goes, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go on a crusade and look for it. And also, there's a grand opening of a big skate park over there, so he's gonna go there and check it out. But look what I got here. A bike that I have never, ever seen. Okay, like I said, guys, I don't know everything. I haven't seen it all. You guys are too gracious, and you guys are always giving me too much credit, but I did some research, and it is a Raleigh R7000. One of the things that caught my eye was this. You guys know I love details. And let me zoom this thing in because I'm an old dude and I do not know how to operate some of this stuff. Okay, is that clear? Look at this dropout. Look at this sexy dropout. Very similar. This part right here is very similar to GT, very similar to a profile rocket. It's this thing right here. It's got the Raleigh word on it. And as we go, the bike itself looks pretty similar to everything else. You got the classic Pitbull, Cigino GT, Focus. I'm actually telling myself that. Odyssey, triple trap. Another feature I really like is this, the Haro fork. That's another thing that caught my eye right away. At first, I was kind of like, you know what, are those Skyway forks? Because, you know, the TA came with it, but look at how Haro this thing is. Look at that GT quill stem, mint. So you could tell this thing, there was a pad covering it. GT drop nose, excellent condition. I like it. Power light bars, mini. So this setup right here, I would say it's more of like an expert, I would say, a junior and expert. You can set it up with taller bars. So that's what makes these sides a little bit more expensive than the minis. Because the minis, you can't put bigger bars on ride, it'll look too weird. This one you can. So why am I filming this thing? Because it's very rare that I get excited, and I'm excited because I get to work on really rare bikes. Dream come true. This bike came in, original owner, he's handing it down to his daughter. His daughter wants to get into BMXing. And so he needs new tires, so of course we got him Tioga Comp 3s, the reissue, 195. Wants to put on some new grips. I think he's got the slingshot. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the slingshot grips. This part right here, it's fatter, so it gives you a little bit of leverage. All these gimmicks. Of course, the power bend. And then getting rid of the triple trap, we're gonna just put on some purple tangents. So get the girl excited about her bike. Let me see, I'm gonna put this right here. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the tires. Something real simple, okay guys? This is nothing major. All I wanted to do was just to do a video on this bike because I'm pretty sure I didn't even try it. I'm gonna YouTube it up, and I don't think this thing's gonna be on there. So why not just add something rare so you guys can be like, hey, you know what? That bike's cool. I consider this kind of like one of the golden era of BMX because BMX was blowing up at the time, and shapes of bike was unique like this. The tubings right here is small, and it gets bigger here, and it becomes more aero. The detail. And you know what? The thing that's really amazing, guys, this one is not that expensive. You once in a while pop up, and you can get this frame for like under 500 bucks. You know, for something vintage, something this detail, I've never seen one of those. I am a super fan of any bike that has special features like this. I think these spokes are titanium, guys. Titanium, it doesn't ping like a normal steel. Can you imagine? This is an 84. I'm not sure when's the last time the dad changed the tire, but it's an 84 and the dad is around my age, so we're like kind of like Stone Age. This is possibly the tube that's been back since back then. Yep. So we got ourselves here the reissue Comp 3s and the 175. Perfect. Pop these puppy on. This bike didn't come here for restoration. It just came in here for new tires and a little bit of brake tune. Some of you guys, I respect everybody's style, but for some of you guys out there that are restoring a bike and never want to ride it, ah man, you're missing out. you guys are definitely missing out because bikes are fun, man. Riding a bike is fun. We went through this once in our lifetime, and now we got a second chance to enjoy it, and why not? So that's why you never see any of my bikes restored to show quality, because it's fun, but it's way funner riding it. Another pet peeve of mine is inner tube. I actually like to use a tube that is skinnier than what it says. If it's recommending like let's say 2.1, I'm gonna use the 195. But why? Because it's a better chance of not getting pitch flat when you are installing it. Some of you guys might be like, no, it's not. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just a lot easier to install. When it's too fat, you try to squeeze the inner tube and the tire in there. You got a better chance of getting pitch flats. And like I said, Max and his sister is in Vietnam. Super stoked. They get to go back to where I was born, where I was raised until I was about 5 years old. I'll be real with you guys. That has got to be one of my happiest things that I've ever seen in all my years, is seeing my kids go back to where I was born and visiting my relatives that I barely even know. And it just showed them like, hey, we still remember where we came from. I'm not saying that I love America. Them being born here, I being born over there, and they get to go back and my relatives over there see my kids over there. They're visiting their great grandparents' grave. Was very, very big and actually emotional for me. Yeah, I was super happy with that. Go on to our Instagram, go on Max's Instagram. If you don't follow him, it's at Max Wu-Tang. You're gonna see his little adventure. I love it. I love it, dude. He's back there. He's riding a bike in the jungle. It's so rad. So yeah, new tires, new tubes, new brake pads, grips. Just a refresh, guys. Everybody that get their hand on a vintage bike's like, oh man, yeah, dude, can't wait to do a restoration. Yeah, in a sense, this is kind of do a restoration, but no, it's more of a maintenance. I'm gonna dial the brakes in a little later. Oh wow, the brakes actually still works really good. Wow, I can't imagine if I put new lube on this thing. I can't get over how rad this looks. So not sure if you guys understand the design of this. So this thing right here, if you guys could think of a dropout, if it was just welded here, it's very weak. So by welding this whole thing on and by putting this is kind of like a wheelie bar, so this thing doesn't flex. That's just my interpretation of it. My thing with messing around cars, that's kind of what I got from it. Some of you guys might not like this, but I'm actually not that big of a fan of Cooks. Now, the bike itself, of course, everybody knows Cooks and everybody knows the history of it. I'm not saying that. When I talk about fans of it, I'm just talking about the bike itself, because why? It's very simple. Yeah, sometimes simple's good. The shape of the bike was functional. It got its job done, but I love details, and that bike is too simple. The hutch, same thing, way too simple. This thing's dope. The front end is all round tubing. The back end is where all the special tubing and everything is. Really sick. How many people grew up and thought Sugino GT was GT, like GT bikes? I did. I did for a long time. You know what, growing up, anything that you see GT, like on a bike, you would associate with GT bikes. So yeah, when I was young, I used to thought Sugino GT was GT. That's why they had other Sugino cranks that were like the Super Maxi. I didn't buy it because I thought the Sugino GT were GT cranks. And so we couldn't afford the GT Power Series, so we went and bought that. Come on, let's hear from some of you guys. And then after that, after we knew a thing or two about cranks, you guys remember the Peregrine cranks? Dubbed the poor man's flights? How many of you guys are like, dude, I can't afford flights, but I'm gonna save up money, buy the Peregrine cranks, and take the Redline sticker and put it on there? Yeah. I never did that because I couldn't even afford the Peregrine one. It definitely was on my mind, like that's what I was gonna do. This guy here, either the family was wealthy or he was a very good kid, because, you know, you having anodized parts, man, you're a cool kid. You know, you got the Odyssey Pro headset, still good condition. The Odyssey brake lever. So there, you guys got the tires on, looking good. Basically, you guys are thinking about something like that. This bike right here, we're still working on it. We're waiting for the sprocket. This thing was all rusted, but yeah, we stripped it, polished, did whatever we could. This is what I consider like a mild restoration, not an extreme one. This guy right here, all this guy is a tune-up. So these little cable holder right here, I only loosened them up, I didn't take them out. You see me trying to like force it out like that? That's because I don't want to take that out. And this thing right here, there's a little bit of rust. I'm gonna have to open this thing a little bit. I don't want it to crack. I don't want the chrome to crack. So I just barely open it and just kind of wiggle this out. Odyssey brake cable. Some of you guys are not gonna like this, but almost all the cable that says linear, they're gonna be the same. Any the one that says non-linear, what's the difference is, if it's non-linear, inside the housing is coil. See how it kind of springs? It's coil. It's just a basic one. The reason why the linear is you get a better pull. The linear is, instead of the housing being coiled, there's strands that are running all the way down it. This bike doesn't need it. It does cost a little bit more, but they don't need it. Always separate the inner and outer before you cut. If you guys are curious, Park Tool cable cutter. So always lube the cable. When you cut it, lube, put it in. So what I like to do is, I'm gonna screw this thing all the way in, and then I'm gonna back it out just maybe about 3 turn, 4 turn. Because what I'm gonna do is when I tighten this, I'm gonna make it tight. You guys are like, oh, it's too tight, it won't move. I'm gonna back this thing out, the brake's gonna be perfect. This cable is a little bit bigger than the other one. And you know, again, you know, I don't wanna take this thing out because some of these things, it's very fragile. I don't want to completely take it out and next thing you know, the chrome chip on it or whatever. I don't want to deal with that. So if I could get it, if I could get this thing to go through, then that's fine. See the rust? Take the razor blade. Look at that. Okay guys, look at that. Rub this guy with a little bit of solvent. Okay, so what we're gonna do is lube. Basically, any joint. See, look, I'm gonna move this. It actually moves pretty freely. The other side, same thing, pretty freely. So there's nothing binding it up. So I know that the brakes itself, it's pretty healthy. This is when a lot of times you guys are like, oh, my brakes feel like crap. Take out the cable and then move every individual part. See, like, look at that, it moves great. This, see? So it was the old cable. And I know some of you guys are like, I hate to work on these pit bull. This guy's is right here. Look how dry this is. This guy's rubbing on this little part right here. So what we do, put grease. I think it's the first time I've done this by myself without anybody filming. Yeah, see, look at that. Smooth, smooth. I wish there was a way I could show you guys how I'm doing this, but I'm making the best of the situation. This thing right here, this little fancy tool, it grabs the brake cable and it pulls. This is what happens when you don't have kids to hold stuff for you. So remember I was telling you guys, now I'm gonna back this thing in. Well, I'm gonna put it back in. Look, perfect. Butter. Okay. You guys know it, Cool Stop. One of the best and one of the OGs. Yeah, these pit bulls are still in really good condition too. The words on it is still there. The pads, barely worn. But they're hard. They're hard because it's old. Very, very similar shape, but these are new, they're soft. Now I've always said it, you look in here, there are 2 sets of spacers. You could either flip-flop them or whatnot. Because these rims are so narrow, we're gonna put the fatter on the inside. And the trick to how I get these straight, I put them in and I make sure the caliper are clamped down. So it's forcing it to be straight. All right guys, I'm all done. Look at the bike. Got this this guy right in. And you know what? I went ahead and went down and wiped the bike down. Look at the chrome. You know, you got the new Comp 3s, Tangent. I've always liked these Tangent pedals. New ODIs. I don't have the plug because, guys, the aluminum bars, you notice how thick it is? It will not fit these bar ends. The outer diameter, this part right here, it is 22.2. But since this is thicker, that won't go in. So that's that. You know, I had some customer come in, so I need to wrap this thing up. But yeah, the whole point of this video is to show you this dope bike that I've never seen, never even heard of. If any of you guys ever heard of it, it is a Raleigh R7000. Chime in, let me know. Let me know what you guys, if you guys had it, what you guys think. But I think it's dope, has great features on it, and this bike itself is really rad. Imagine, I'm getting paid to work on cool stuff like this. Living the dream, guys. Thank you, subscribe, comment, and later.